welcome to this week's episode of Success in Women. I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
And today we've decided, because of, I'll say, the popularity of, and it's not that it's a great thing, but people and their mental health issues, it's such a big thing that we decided to continue on part 2, and we want to talk about finding the right therapist. But before we get started, Andrea's got her tip of the week.
Well, it is summertime, and my girlfriend and my friends are all opening their pools. And my girlfriend had ordered on Amazon these balls, and you throw them in the pool, they light up, and it looked really cute. And I thought, okay, that's nice and everything, but a little expensive. And so I was looking online for something to do that would be less expensive, and I found this amazing idea. So you go to the dollar store and you get those pool noodles.
Oh, yeah.
You know those noodles? Yeah. And you cut them about, 2-3 inches down the line. So you get maybe 10 or 12 of them out of a pool noodle. And you put a little tea light in the center. And then you throw them in, you light them up and put them in the pool. They float all over.
The tea lights with battery stuff?
No, not batteries, like actual tea light, candles.
Oh, real candles?
Real candles.
Oh, you mean at night for ambiance?
Yeah, for ambiance.
Oh, I see.
And some people have my other girlfriend has a little pond, with
that would be nice
waterfalls.
in a little pond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I thought, what a great idea. And then another picture with the same idea, the pool noodles, they used a cookie cutter that looked like a flower.
Oh.
So they cut it, they made it shaped like a little flower, and then you just slip the tea light, because it has the metal holder, into the little. It fits perfectly, and you've got yourself some nightlight.
Cute.
I thought it was a cute idea. It's summertime.
Well, and that's the thing. Backyards look so nice when they've got candles all over. And I know recently my sister bought more candles, but the bigger ones to put all around the backyard, because it looks so pretty.
It does.
And and if you have a pool, it just enhances that as well, having that. Just don't have people go swimming around the fire. Anyway, so
listen, this is Canada. Nighttime swimming is very rare.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless you crank up the pool heater.
True enough.
Mm-hmm.
So getting back to mental health, and we hope you enjoyed last week's episode on that. But if you piggyback on that, it's one thing to identify the issues that people are having all around you, and maybe yourself personally. But what happens when you're trying to find the help? And I know, Andrea, you've been going through in your family, having to deal with the system.
Yes.
And trying to find. So maybe you want to share, with our audience, what you've been going through.
Well, yeah, it hasn't been an easy month, put it this way. And I have been trying to get some help for my one daughter. And we have literally been to 1, 2, 3 facilities, 1 hospital facility. When my daughter went there in crisis a week and a half ago, they basically sent her home and said, we'll get in touch with you next week. Well, it took over a week, well over a week, to get a phone call back. And I thought to myself, what would happen if she had no help, nobody there to pick her up, to bring her home? Would they just put her on the street? I don't know. So then we looked up a lot of different places that have people that you can go talk to and see if there's programs, either outpatient, inpatient. We went to one called RAM. So they basically brought us, made an appointment, went into a room. It was a Zoom meeting with some woman. So she put her on a vitamin and some other little medication, like she's not on enough. And said, we'll follow up in a week. The doctor came on for literally 2 minutes. So that was basically no help. And then we went to our own doctor, finally got an appointment because my doctor's been on holiday. So we ended up with the nurse practitioner. And basically she referred us to this CAM H, which we have to make a call and set up an appointment. So no help really there except make more phone calls, wait. And then another program called Adept. So we called there, and the girl took her information, said, we'll call you back. It's been almost a week now. No phone call back yet. And then we went to the follow-up at the hospital, and we explained to her what we were going through. And she said, well, I will make a phone call for you to see if we can hurry up this ADEPT program. Okay, still haven't heard. And then she put us on to another facility called Hope Place around here. So we have to phone there. Now, did we get any real help? I don't think so. The only help she's getting is
from the family.
From the family, that we're keeping her safe and surrounded by love.
Yes.
And waiting, just it's a waiting game. And I'm thinking to myself, what about these women or children or anybody that's living alone, doesn't have anybody to help? That, you know, the suicide rate's going up and up and up. And I know why now.
Yeah.
I know personally 3 people that have committed suicide in the last couple of years, young. And they lived on their own. They were in crisis. I don't know if they reached out for help, but if they did, they
wouldn't have got it.
It's not
anyway.
immediate. It's not immediate, that's for sure. Now, in saying all that, we never felt comfortable with anybody that we actually had an appointment with.
Wow.
You know? So except the nurse practitioner at our doctor's office. But she was kind of filling in for somebody else that day. So, I don't know. It's so important to feel that connection, because when my daughter would leave with me, oh, that was a waste of time. Oh, what good did that do? So what help is out there?
So interestingly enough, recently I heard about a situation where it's a young child and they're going for therapy. They've, since COVID, have had some mental health issues, and now they're regressing to the point where they can't even look anybody in the eye.
Oh no.
They have a couple of family members that they're okay with, but the fact is they're not comfortable anywhere. They're not comfortable around their friends anymore. And this is like, I think 10, 11 years old.
Wow.
And you know, when you think about it, so this little person has been going for therapy for 2 years, but instead of getting better, she's actually regressing.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, so where's the benefit in that? So the system is failing her again because that person that she obviously is seeing is not specializing with young children.
And the fact that she's not recognizing or admitting to the fact that she's not being helpful, but taking the paycheck without a problem. And instead of talking to the parents and saying,
listen, yes, I'm not getting anywhere. We're going to have to escalate this to somebody that's more specialized. And so the parents bring the child in, you know, on a regular basis and have been for 2 years. And the only thing that's coming out of it is they said, well, the young girl will talk to the therapist, but she's not being helped in the sense that, like, she's comfortable with her own parents and she's comfortable with an aunt, fine, but that doesn't help because those people are not trained, and you're supposed to be an expert to help them come out of what it is,
integrate into the world.
That's right, because it's only going to get worse if she can't express herself, if she can't communicate. And now her friends are getting to the point where they're not inviting her for things because she can't even look at them. And in any kind of family situation where there's a little grouping,
so
she's just kind of sitting with her head down. I don't know what thoughts are going through, but when she's withdrawing,
withdrawing.
Withdrawing.
And she needs to, they better figure this out, right?
And as a parent, I mean, we understand, I'm going to say the stresses that you have, especially if it's a work and family life balance. And then you're dealing with somebody that's got these health issues that you have to also deal with. And then you're struggling because now you can't find the help. And you're seeing your child, or, well, it doesn't matter whether it's an adult child or a young child, or
right.
if it's a sibling or somebody else in the family, a friend. You're seeing them struggle because you can't get the help.
Exactly. And that's how I feel right now. I feel so helpless because you're trying to do all the right stuff, but nothing seems to be clicking. And every day that goes by, you worry more and more. And of course, it brings stress on me. There's irritation. There's little, and I have another daughter at home and she tries to be helpful. And it puts a stress on the whole family. And then your life kind of comes to a halt. And you don't want to do things. You don't feel like doing things. Like I told you last week, Linda, that was the first time I made the bed in 2 weeks, which is not me.
No, definitely
but you
not
were coming, so I made the bed. But that's what it does to you. It puts a black cloud over you. It weighs you down, the whole family. And that's why it's so important to get help.
The proper help.
The proper help, so that you feel like something's happening, that you're not just at a standstill. And that's how I feel right now. We're just in a standstill.
In a whole position.
I don't know what to do.
And Dr. Laura, and I know I've quoted her many times over the episodes over the last couple of years, but if you listen to her, and when she gets these calls coming in, and people have seen a therapist, and especially if that therapist has been there for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and nothing's changing. Dr. Laura pretty well will always say, like, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money.
Mm-hmm.
See somebody else. And
Yes.
that's the thing you've got to recognize, is if you're not getting the help, or you're not seeing anything progress forward, then maybe that's not the right person.
That's
because
right.
in life, I mean, even, and I'm going to use a really bad analogy, but I'm going to use it anyway. I've gone through many personal trainers. Some were excellent and they've moved on, so I couldn't have them, but some were not a fit. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a fit, so you don't mesh with that person that you're working with,
right,
you have to find somebody else.
Right, especially with therapy, because you need to be able to open up and talk. And if you're not comfortable, and they can say all they want, these therapists, that they're non-judgmental and whatever, but you get a vibe. I've been getting it myself from a few. So I know they're not what, they think they're being helpful, but they're not. Some of them have their own ideas, their own beliefs, and it comes out in ways that they probably don't even realize.
So they're not looking at, the individual situation then. And sometimes that's what happens.
What I think. It's like textbook.
Yes, I was just going to say that. It's textbook.
Yes.
And you don't want that in any type of situation. Right. When you've got to have that one-on-one connection, you need to find the right fit.
Yes.
But then how do you get that? And that's why you have to be open to asking people, because believe it or not, there's been a lot of people that have suffered with mental health issues that have gotten the help, mm-hmm. but they are afraid because of the stigma of what society will do. But you've got to overlook that. If you want to find the right people, you've got to keep looking until you get that person that you feel that connection, that understands what you're going through, mm-hmm. and that has the expertise and the experience to help guide you out of that.
Right. Well, it's like even with Alcoholic Anonymous,
yes.
and Narcotics Anonymous, you have to find the right click, and you have to find a group that's in your wheelhouse. Like there's some that have younger kids, some that have older people. So and distance, how far you got to go, whatever. Do you find a good sponsor? You have to find all those things to make it work. Because I find if you find the right person that you click with, you have a better chance of succeeding. If if you don't want to do like a in-house rehab or whatever like that, if you want to do it that route. So it's always finding the right place for you if you want the help.
Right.
A lot of people,
Well, that's the other thing. You have to want it.
You have to want it, because
Yes.
some people might go because they feel they should, or
Yes.
or families pressuring them,
Right.
or whatever, and they'll always find an excuse why it doesn't work.
Right.
You know, so
But one of the
it's a
things,
very, very hard thing right now, this mental health and mental issues and drug abuse, and
but you know,
it's
there
rampant.
are, it is, but that's why, you know, because it's a growing, I'll say,
issue.
yeah, it is a growing issue. That's why, you know, and when I listen, I haven't listened to Dr. Laura in a while. I don't have Sirius anymore. But the thing is, when I was listening to her, and I have listened to her for many years, but it's one of the things, and that's why she gets so concerned with, because you're, you know, going and wasting your time and money, and you're not getting better.
No.
And it's making it hard for you to, I'm going to say, function in life, whether it's through your work or through relationship.
Absolutely.
Or you keep picking the wrong people to bring into your life, and you're ending up with all these toxic relationships, and then you're calling in, and then you're screwing up your kids because, again, you've never found the right connection.
Right.
They're out there. They truly are, but it does take some...
just keep looking
Yes.
and looking and looking, and if you're serious about getting help, you know, and there's a lot of, which I found, a lot of different organizations, and you just have to keep calling and make an appointment. But here's another thing. You have to make the appointment.
Yeah.
Nobody can do it for you. And even if myself as a parent wanting to get, okay, if they were under 18, I guess you can. But with children over 18, they have to make the phone calls, so they want to know that they're serious. But they're not always in the right mindset to be able to do that, because they don't recognize all the time the problems that they're going through is a mental health issue. Yeah.
And that is a big, big thing right now. That, what do you do? And for me, like I said, I don't have that necessarily. I haven't gone through that, except with an alcoholic husband and going through, you know, him wanting it. Well, he never wanted it, so of course he never really got the help. He only got the help for the period of time he thought that it would be good because of the pressure he was getting from the family.
And to reconcile with you.
Yeah.
And then it didn't work
but
out
it
in
didn't
the
work.
end. It
and
doesn't work.
And that's the problem.
If that's not what you really want.
Right. And so, but, you know, you have to recognize there are programs out there. And, you know, I was prepared to find another one that I thought would really work, because not only was it an in-house program, but it was longer than the 6 weeks, because I felt like, especially with an alcoholic, 6 weeks was not long enough. And for some alcoholics, there is a mental health issue behind it.
Oh, definitely.
And we've talked about this, Andrew, over the years, that we always felt like he drank because of something that might have happened, you know, in his youth or something, because
he didn't have a normal upbringing.
He didn't. But he also, if it was something that happened, he blocked it out.
Yeah. Because
he knew that drinking was a problem, but he didn't really want to recognize that there may have been something that was the trigger.
Right.
And it was easier just to drink and forget about it.
Right.
And there was a facility, and he just didn't want to go because he, I guess, convinced himself that drinking was more important than seeking the help. And life wasn't worth living if he couldn't have a drink.
Well, and see, here's another thing. I remember once a friend of mine who had an issue with alcohol and went to rehab, came out, was really good for, like I said, for the first couple of weeks. And then one night we all went out for dinner, and I was outside with him, and I said, so, you know, how are you feeling? You know, are you feeling better now? He said, you know, I'm having problems with my girlfriend. And I said, why? She says, well, she says I'm no fun now that I'm not drinking. So here you go. There's a change that you really might have to make. The people you hang out with, the places you go, the things that trigger it. You know, it's like when you want to quit smoking and you always associate, say, smoking with a coffee or smoking with an alcoholic drink.
Yeah.
You have to separate the two in order, for the first while, in order to, kick the habit, because the triggers are there.
But you need the support of people around you.
And the people are the most important.
Yeah.
And you know what they say? Birds of a feather
flock together.
And so if you're a drinker and your friends are all drinkers and then you quit, they don't like that.
Well, do you remember the episode of Friends and Fun Bob? And
Fun Bob.
Yeah, that's what they called him, because Bob would, when he started having a couple of drinks in him, he was so much fun to be around.
Right.
Well, Fun Bob decided to stop drinking,
Oh,
and
no.
he wasn't fun anymore. And I
Right.
believe it was Friends. It might have been one of the other sitcoms, but
Right.
the thing is, everybody associated Fun Bob when he had some drinks.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, he was more serious and,
Sober.
and sober, and
Yeah.
they thought he wasn't fun
It ain't
anymore.
fun anymore. I know.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, like with all things.
Yes.
So it's like, when you love to go eat great food and then everybody's going out and you order a salad, people are like, what? No, they can't understand it. But if you're with people who are like-minded, they understand, they don't push.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people if they are trying to kick something and they still have the same group of people.
Well,
and I tell everybody, listen, because I've had my own issue, and I tell people it will change. The first year might be tough, but I'm telling you, it will get better and you will be fun again. You will.
But I think
will
sometimes
you will be able to go back to those friends or your coffee or
but
your
I think
drink.
those friends that are not supportive, sometimes it's because they have their own issues.
Oh,
so
sure.
if you were trying to lose weight and you're ordering a salad, you're making them feel guilty because they're having a regular meal.
Yeah, hamburger and French fries.
Yeah, when really they should be having something
Yes.
healthier.
Yeah.
And so they're putting that on you.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens in the workplace, because I was telling you before, I worked for the federal government at one point, and because I'm feeling as a woman, I've got something I have to prove, and I was working really hard. I was on probation because it was a promotion from my last job. But because I was doing everything to work hard and get a good rating, I was making them look bad because they were slacking off.
Mm-hmm.
They took the long breaks, they took the long lunch hours, they came in late, they left early, they did all these things, minimal amounts of work.
Right.
And because I was really working hard, they made me look bad because it made them look bad.
Yes.
And so for that, I actually had to move over to their side, which is not my personality, and why eventually I had to leave the government, because
Right.
I like to work
Wasn't
hard.
working for you.
I can't, because I can't play those games.
And that's
but
the
that was
thing.
the pressure.
Yes,
I had no
pressure.
choice.
And if you'd stayed, it would have brought you down,
Yes.
and you would have hated yourself for doing that.
Yeah.
So it was better to just leave. And that's what I say about mental health and addiction. It's better to stay away from those people that trigger you or don't support you.
Yes, the support is so important that you really do need that.
Yeah.
So, although we can't give you the solutions to find that perfect therapist, recognize the fact if you're not getting better or
Clicking.
you're not clicking, and don't feel bad about that.
That's right.
Because not everybody, otherwise you'd be friends with absolutely everybody in the world. We don't all click.
No.
So you have to find that right connection.
Yeah.
But recognize that and keep trying to find it, because it's out there.
It is out
It's
there.
just a matter of the time investment you may have to make. Ask. Don't be afraid to ask people if they can refer somebody and try. And again, just because they helped another person, yes, they might not help you. You keep moving on.
Moving on.
But move in that right direction.
Move forward.
Yes.
Don't
And
move.
know you're not alone, because this is going on everywhere.
Oh, yes. And that's number one. You are not alone. There are and going to these groups or different places, you see that you're not alone. And that's helpful. Like if you need
And again, you
those
got to find the right
meetings,
group.
The right group.
Yes, because even that can bring you down if you let it. So you
Yeah.
have to be careful even with that. Again, that support of lifting you up constantly and helping you to move forward is really important. So, of course, if you've enjoyed this week's episode, we hope you
Like,
share.
and please subscribe.
We can't do it without you.
That's right.
I'm Linda.
I'm Andrea.
Until next week.